What's going on, everyone? This is Michael Stewart-Isaacs,
And this is Shemekka Ebony.
and this is your next edition of
Sunday
Sunday Stacks.
Stacks.
Sunday Stacks back again, and we are ready for a jam-packed episode. I mean, what a week, what a weekend, and it is Easter Sunday. Yes, Easter Sunday, and we are just excited to, celebrate the holiday, the meaning. I mean, what does Easter Sunday mean to you, Shemekka?
Well, from my awareness and knowledge and experience, I bring in the power of Resurrection Sunday, the power of, the story of Peter Cottontail, the Canterbury Rabbit, and all this
Traditions, right?
right, all these other things that shape us, even from, having new outfits for Easter Sunday or wearing Sunday's best to go back to church. I know as a church planter, this is one of two busiest soul catching Sunday seasons of the year, the other one being Christmas, that brings people together. And so there's ministers that are preparing, like usually Friday nights we'll have the, 11 last 7 sayings of Jesus. And then today is kind of like that reflective day to be thoughtful if you've been fasting and things like that. So I'm feeling all that energy from those of faith that are utilizing this season for their peeling back and sacrificing and becoming anew, springing forth, rising up and standing tall, all of the above. So that's what I come into this Sunday being aware and sensitive to, and excited about the new beginnings that we have and what we get to share in our community.
Awesome. And always a shout out to our Jesus Christ. Definitely respect, and definitely want to acknowledge those who understand the stars and celestials and understand the changing of the seasons, the changing of our planetary motions and positions for the new things to spring up and cold weather to go away and warmer weather to arise in different parts of the country and the equator. So for those out there that are staying in tune, definitely feel the rising of this weekend as a means of renewing yourself, being a new thing. Don't get locked into the way you used to be. Be ready to grow into the seeds that have been planted throughout your experiences and the pains you've gone through, and allow for yourself to have breakthroughs after breakthroughs that allow for you to be free and truly open towards what your true leadership and abilities are. As always with Sunday Stacks, we always celebrate what we call the FCC, which is Family, Community, and Company. As always, we want to thank our sponsors. I want to shout out QuickBooks. Always, we appreciate QuickBooks working with the entrepreneur, just allowing for us to have a platform to continue to help business owners out there have the tools they need to keep their books in order so they can truly create a vibrant and profitable business. So shout out to QuickBooks. And as always, in the description, we'll throw a link in there. Definitely please feel free to go through the link. You'll get a special discount for your usage and going through our platform. So we want to thank QuickBooks, our sponsors. Any quick shout outs you have, sponsors, anything you got going on, Shemekka?
Absolutely. I want to do a quick shout out to Forum. Joinforum.com is an app that allows people to come together with peer support to kind of navigate those heavy hitting seasons and helping you be empowered and filled with knowledge and resources to rise to the occasion. Forum has created a platform where I get to hold virtual groups. Registration on Leadership Empowerment is closing soon, so if you haven't signed up, I think today is the last day for that. And then I have a DEI women leaders peer group that is going to be launching in May. So the beautiful thing about Forum as a platform is that there is a sliding scale offering, because we want to meet women where they are and remove barriers that would block you from getting what you need to feel supported in these times. So don't let the price scare you. There's an opportunity. We're going to be meeting on a frequently utilized schedule to share resources and support and build each other up, as while we're trying to do the heavy lifting of equity in our corporate communities or within our communities that we live in.
That's awesome. And I think we are so happy, here with I Am Brilliant. We produce the Sunday Stacks together, me and Shemekka. We have I Am Brilliant, which is our production, our tour, the movement that we've been able to really put in communities to really reflect this FCC approach, but do it through content, through engagement, through presentations. We do speaking engagements, so many opportunities that we try to come to the people and remind them of their brilliance. So we thank you always for joining us here at Sunday Stacks, because this is our space where we get to just really talk, give you a little bit of character of who we are, and really just share just a new perspective that we hope is refreshing to your ears, something that feels authentic, something that feels so necessary in the times we're in right now. And I mean, Shemekka, you have some really innovative things going on out here with some other courses you're offering the marketplace to continue helping them grow their company. So
Yes.
tell us a little bit more about some other things you're involved in.
Absolutely. As you know, I lead the space with Black Girl Magic Market to center Black women in building their capacity as business leaders, entrepreneurs. And I had the pleasure of partnering with the Center for Micro Entrepreneurship Training, and I offered the Intro to Canva course, which was a great opportunity to get familiar with that for those solopreneurs that may be rocking in our community, that are holding hats as creator, as social media manager, as CEO, as a founder, and all of the hats that we wear. Canva is a tool that can help you get to where you want to be with awareness campaigns and marketing and social media promotion. So if you want to get more familiar with Canva and learn the latest tips and tricks, you should join our next group of courses that we have coming up. So definitely check that out. You'll have the link in the description, and you'll see it on all of our websites, blackgirlmagic.market and shemekkaebony.com. Both have links for that under upcoming events. But we will have an Intro to Canva course that'll be kicking off, and we'll also be having a Community Bill of Rights action group that is going to be coming and launching. So if you're not familiar with the Community Bill of Rights, definitely catch up, find out what's going on. There is a playlist here on my Shemekka Ebony YouTube. Definitely go catch up in that manner, or you can find out more by reading about it at communitychampion.club. We have that action group launching, and I'm super excited that we will be on tour going to several different cities. The next Community Bill of Rights city is going to be in St. Louis. So we're excited to partner with We in the World and the WIN Network for WIN Week in St. Louis this year, and I'm going to be holding space and lifting up with Jen Olsen, another co-author of the Community Bill of Rights, introducing it as a way of being to center community and help create action plans for introducing Community Bill of Rights as a way of being in your community engagement work.
I love this energy. I love what you produce for community and just find so many means. People ask us as family, how do we do so much? How do we manage and juggle so many working entities and so many brands and so many partnerships that we're working on? And we're doing it independently, right? A lot
God
of it,
did.
God did, right? We take those seeds that we were blessed with. We grew one at a time, and then they multiplied, and we continue to be faithful, and we just continue to multiply. And now we're in a position to be a blessing to others and start to employ and start to contract people and really start to position the work that we're doing in a way that people want to be supportive because they see how we're getting results. And I always, put in my music and other things is I done came from nothing. Now I'm something. So, that's my way of saying, like, we have the means to grow if we continue to just use what's in our hands. So with that, we're going to jump right into the main theme of our show this week. And we're focused on something very unique. This is called the power of record keeping. Yes, the power of record keeping. And this is an important topic that we want to cover this week. Our goal is to really give you guys intriguing ways to really just open your minds a little bit and think about the way the world is structured, some of the systems and processes that we've accepted as a means of our everyday life. But at the same time, we don't ever ask ourselves or challenge the way things are done in a way to say, what is the real goal? what is the point, the whys of each situation. We're kind of just so used to doing it. We just do it because we are told we need to do it, and no one really questions. So therefore, we never really find full perspective. One thing I've unlocked in this topic of the power of record keeping is that the most important thing I've learned throughout my career and just being in unique spaces is that records and the information, you're privy to is the most important thing that you can keep towards a day, as well as anything that goes on in any organization or any structure. Because honestly, just like court systems and other things, show me the proof and I'll show you a lot. You understand? And that's the way that records are treated, right? Records are treated as proof. Records are treated as a way of keeping a tell-all of the times at any given point. You have newspapers like the New York Times, something we were featured in, and you have other organizations out there for years that have prided themselves in keeping records of sorts. And so when we look at the records, we look at music industries, and you look at the music industry and how they keep records on different artists, who charts, who made the number one, whose song came out in this time. Like, they keep that information forever. It doesn't go anywhere. It goes into perpetuity to whoever ends up owning publishings and recordings. The record matters. Every organization you ever had to get any public assistance from, right? They want your records. They want your social security number, right? Everything seems to circle around this concept that a system cannot work unless someone's keeping a record. And I think we have to really start to unpack that concept when we really want to talk about things such as legacy, as well as undoing the unfairnesses that we see all the time within our world. We see politicians and everything they do to pass bills and to create and enact laws. What are they doing? They're creating a new record. If they don't vote, or if they don't, someone says, that's the politician's record. So we have to understand, when someone goes to jail and they get incarcerated, they create a record. So we have to start to unpack this notion of the record, and we have to set the record straight. And that's part of what me and Shemekka are doing in our alliance when we first started with Sunday Stacks, what we've built with the I Am Brilliant movement, and how we're really trying to reconstitute the record, where everyone now gets to find new paths to leadership due to being able to inherently understand what intrinsically makes them brilliant. What is it in them that they feel that they were given as a seed of truth, in their personal existence, to be able to contribute to the fabrics of their society. And we keep it very simple: family, community, and company. And that's kind of how we got here. And this is how we're kind of bringing this thought process of the power of the record keeping. So what's your thoughts on the record as I've laid out these pros to the audience?
Well, what stands out to me, I believe, first I'll say this: if it's not written, it doesn't exist.
Right.
Where you see a lot of controversy in today's times are that things are being published and made record of things that are not true, have been fabricated or embellished in some way. And when we think about the legacy of our record and the integrity and value of our name, what is being said about us is important. And I just want to slide this in, too, because we saw this also happen this week when we saw the black media industry attack Amanda Seales. These are records that are going to be connected to her. And for as much as she's advocated and lifted up and stood space, held space, this too is an example of how someone could slander the integrity of a person's good things that they've done because of a moment of offense that could impact. So record keeping can harm us, even if it's keeping record of things that are biased or opinionated, heavily opinionated based on someone's experience. So it's a cautionary tale to be mindful of what you put on record, what you allow to be recorded about you, and what you do about the slander that comes along with being placed in the position of power and influence, because everything you say or do becomes public record.
And this is what we have to start to inherit, the power of awareness that this is controversy season. We've been talking about it in our last episode, if you're keeping track. This is controversy season. You're going to see a lot of things now that are creating distractions, things that are becoming permanent records, not only in our mind, but then we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we're overlooking when we get so caught up into the tropes of what the current controversies are that are records themselves, celebrities who showed up here, who won this award, who won that.
Weapons of mass distraction.
And who deem these things so important to the fact that real things that affect human lives, real things that, affect our families every day go overlooked all the time and underappreciated, right? And we have to get to a space where we say, hey, we can enjoy ourselves, we can entertain ourselves, we can look at those things as our records and the things that we want to remember. But at the same time, there are so many other things that we can utilize our brilliance, use our power to really start to shine lights in dark places and be something that really creates new change and really starts to declare what the record should be, because we want to declare and manifest the world that we truly all can live in, that we're civil, that we're respectful to one another. I mean, are these hard things to really ask, to really say that we, the people, do direct and change the record all the time? And we have to start to lean and change our hearts, because we're just so used to the old narratives of the past that we just keep doctoring records to really stand to just reflect what we want to tell the past or who's the hero in each story. But we need to now start making our own selves heroes to ourselves, our families, our communities, and really start to build stronger. And that's really the charge we're here to get people over these overlooked distractions and these overlooked things.
If you allow someone to fix your plate all the time and you consume whatever they put up there, then you begin to become literally what you've been eating and consuming. So you take that not just at face value of physical food, but if your way of being informed is looking at a social media thread, then you need to err on the side of caution to fact check for yourself. You still need to be fixing components of your plate, even if you're allowing social media to deliver you the things that's going to shape who you are.
I love it. And so, I mean, we can talk about this because, again, we're in controversy season, and God knows we have not been spared any controversy this week. I mean, we had a bridge collapse in Baltimore. We've had so many things that have gone on. But as we know, with all of those things happening, we must choose a Whiz of the week, whiz of the week, whiz of the week. Yes, with so much going on and so many things in regards to keeping the records. What a week that we have fostered. What a week. I mean, we're talking about bridges collapsing in Baltimore with what happens, a tanker ship that has, with hazardous materials being shipped to God knows where, right? That's a whole nother point that we have to start to look into, but knows some poor country, I'm sure, that doesn't have any other economy but taking these containers and these tankers. But these are the things that we were ready to ship off. And now we're looking at these things harming one of our major American cities. And we have a black governor, we have a black mayor, and they need support. And they need the prayers because this is where we talk about being brilliant. We all have to be leaders here. We all have to be solution oriented. We all have to be, patient and gracious in moments such as this. We can't
spend too much time being distracted on arguing about the engineering of how it was built. Like, it's done. It has happened. Now, how can we support with more of our energy to go towards how the future looks?
Yeah, and I know there's investigations and there's jurisdictions and all these different, again, record-based, rules and procedures that we have to, go by. But as I look at that and we couple it with all the other things that happened this week, we know here with the Whiz of the Week, what we got to bring up. And we got to talk about the Diddy raid. Yes, the home of Sean Combs, Sean P. Diddy Combs, Sean Diddy Combs, Puff Daddy. Yeah. I mean, the names you may know for so many. He called himself Love recently. This is not to pass any judgment on anyone because we don't have any solid facts, but we do know that the homes throughout, I believe, in Los Angeles and Miami were raided. Things that I can only imagine devastated his family, his children. Like, again, we don't want to miss this FCC point, right? Sean Combs, we all have heard rumors. We all know he parties like nobody else. We've all heard the recent situation he had with his ex-girlfriend that was settled out of court. None of us know any true facts beyond speculations. But again, what we do know is what we see in our eyes and how things get played out here in controversy season. The media plays it out a certain way. You have a high-level raid with military-grade equipment running into this man's house, and you hear allegations of sex trafficking sin and all these other things. He didn't even have to go to court for everyone to have already found him guilty. And this is the part that we have to look at in this general record keeping and how we look at how we carry ourselves throughout society. Myself, too, I've worked in the industry. I've worked for many years. I've professed years ago when I was a teenager. I was young in the business, and I've been fortunate to be able to see a lot of unique things. But I've also been able to go to a lot of unique parties. And I found myself once in a Puff Daddy party in that era of 2001, that kind of early era, right? And I know that could sound controversial. But I'm stating it as honest fact that when I went and partied with Puff Daddy and I had Jay-Z in the room and Dame Dash in the room and the gentleman now who's called Gene Deal, who's telling all of the tell-alls on, Puff Daddy, he's the person who got me into the rooms. And, I'm thinking about this stuff in that era, but I never saw any of this level of behavior that is now being alleged today. But this is many years ago. So I'm just saying this as a true fact to say no one knows unless you're there. And last I checked, everybody in this industry been rushing to go to Puffy parties. And so when you look to try to put this one man out here, everyone need to check their soul. Everyone need to check what they've been doing and how they do it. But this can't be an allegation of one thing when you're really trying to persecute another thing. And I'll let y'all figure that out for yourself in the comments if you want to really jump into this conversation. But I think through this controversy season, I think through my own career in the business, I chose to walk away on so many levels because I saw things I did not like. I'm a man of God. I'm a man of faith. I'm a man that puts family first, and I honor my community, and I want to find real solutions for my community. I don't want to abuse people. I don't want to use people. I don't want to find any double dealing ways. So a lot of those practices as well that have been alleged against Mr. Sean Combs is things that I myself did not like about the industry and the practices. And for all of that, just to go to some wild parties and this, that, and the third was never worth it for me. So I'd rather be a homebody and chill out and be with my beautiful wife and my children and watch them grow than continue to put myself into what I know this industry and this culture, unfortunately, has morphed into. So we can look to indict Puffy before he actually has a real trial. I pray for his family. I pray for that man who has children. I've seen Puffy do good in the community, and we've also seen him be his wild self, dressing like Heath Ledger's Joker and all kind of stuff. But I say that we focus on our own families and we check our own self, but most importantly, we check our culture of hip hop. And as we celebrated Hip Hop 50 and all these other things, that we really think about the misogynies, the language we've been using, the way we've been teaching our youngins how to come up and how we're still doing it. And with all of this awareness, we still choose to do something because we believe that's the only way to make money. And if we now look to find new ways to grow and change, just like I'm out here trying to do every day with my family, building a whole new independent route with what we do with I Am Brilliant, what we doing here with the Sunday Stacks podcast, we encourage you all to kind of just hear this right. This ain't no judgment on anyone. This is for all of us to check ourselves as we all look to progress and really start to look at greater opportunities in this country as well as across the globe for people that are golden like myself and you.
And we have to be honest with ourselves too, as we may so freely pass judgment on what Puffy is experiencing. May we be reminded that lest the strong winds of karma or justice or reciprocity blow on your skeletons in your closet and what surfaces up. The greatest peace I had to come to myself with the shock of, hearing of people that I admired or adored or even celebrated. I had to honestly have a centering moment for me that we all have capacity to allow sin to overtake us and evil to allow itself to demonstrate itself through our lives without the redemption of God in a way to protect us from this. And so many that are held in high regards are often tempted more. And you may find yourself that the greatest people that you admire could have some monstrous sized skeletons in their closet that they don't want to come out. That might, if I could imagine how many deals, how many closed records and cases are happening right now, settlements that are going on because people do not want to be the next Puffy. So people getting paid low key to be quiet more and more at this point with all this coming out. I am fully confident there are some hush transactions happening because people don't want to disclose that they knew the monster, they were the monster, or they were around the monsters.
That's well said. And as I encourage with this is that we do not forget, let's not overlook the distractions that overlook our policies and other things that are going on in our country. We're not a political show, but we are a show that is politically aware and policy connected because we want to make sure that our families, our communities, and our companies are served with every stroke of a pen and every deal transacted across the board. It has the consideration of us, the people, the Americans, those out here in the global citizens that are trying to do good every day. And I say to the culture of hip hop, my culture, I'm Hip Hop Wall Street with some of my PR work. Please, positive vibes. Let's keep things truthful. Let's keep things honest. Let's have a conversation. Let's talk about the culture overall, not just Puffy. And let's not look at who's going to be the next person who was held up high and brought down. Let's figure out how we can start finding ways to move forward and make the culture a more honorable place with more honorable behavior. Honorable,
yes.
right? Right now, we can change hip hop to represent honorability, not this foolishness that we've allowed to represent. I say that to my queens out there who I understand you want to have your power sexually and otherwise, but also you got to understand the fine line that we're drawing out here and the images that we're putting out here to our young girls, to our young men out there that are out there still talking about shooting and violence. I understand the Second Amendment, but at the same time, we also got a First Amendment and we got a first obligation to God that we got to raise our young men properly and we got to guide these young kings that they can lead families one day, and we got to make sure they feel like they have a life worth leading. So let's definitely celebrate life. Let's celebrate power and this brilliance that we continue to talk about. We can stay here forever with you all, but we definitely want you all to tune in next week. If you like what you heard and it's your first time here, definitely give us a like and subscribe. Definitely tell a friend to tell a friend and share and listen to previous episodes of Sunday Stacks. You'll definitely get a refreshing treat even when you look back at some of the previous episodes. But we're going to do this always, and we'll be back as next week.
Happy Resurrection Sunday,
Happy
everyone.
Resurrection Sunday, as everyone. And check out all of our platforms. Again, links will be in the description, so you can find all the links to all our platforms. But I thank Shemekka always. I'm Michael Stewart-Isaacs. And as we always say, I am brilliant and you are too. Thank you for enjoying this episode of Sunday Stacks, and we'll see you next week. Peace.